What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Take Time Out with Tre Mosley. I am your host, Tre Mosley, and today we have a, special to me, special guest. This young lady is heard on airwaves all across the nation, maybe even internationally. You may have heard her, but don't know who she is, but we're going to take care of that right now because we have a little package that we're going to show. So, Ryan, if you will.
Unbelievable.
Game-changing highlights.
He's got it!
And can't miss recaps.
Are you kidding me?
On game day, you won't miss a beat. NFL Game Day, all day Sunday on NFL Network. Olivia Rodrigo. En vivo en Miami. The Guts World Tour. Casella Center, 6 de marzo, con invitado especial, Chapel Roan. Regístrese ahora para acceder a las entradas en oliviarodrigo.com. El nuevo álbum Guts ya está disponible en todas partes. Para más información, visita oliviarodrigo.com. When it comes to recruiting, there's a lot you're juggling for your company. And when you're so focused on moving things forward, you might realize that you haven't actually moved all morning. That's where the LinkedIn Recruiter app comes in. The Recruiter app keeps you updated on the things you care about, no matter where your day takes you. With the app's timely alerts, you can be the first to know about new candidates that fit your search. And you'll get a heads up when you need it for any job posts that are about to expire. And since the app helps you respond up to 50% faster to candidates, you'll always be there at the right time. You can easily pick up your work where you left off, giving you the flexibility to find great people wherever you are. And no matter how much is on your to-do list, your homepage helps you figure out what to tackle next and what can wait till tomorrow. Download the Recruiter app today and start working how and where you want to.
Issa Lopez joins us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here with you.
Oh, well, the
And
honor is.
congrats on the show. Like,
Oh, thank
it's
you.
going so well. And
Yeah,
when you're
it's
having fun and you're, authentic, it's like, it like flows,
that's exactly what we do. We try to have fun, teach you a little something in the process, and
Yeah.
maybe you'll learn something before it's done. Um, so I would like to start off with one thing. Um, like a few of my guests who have been on, um, actually, no, I take that back. Two things. One, yes, you had a start in radio, but we're gonna go even back a little further. Word on the street was before you got into radio, you actually used to sing.
I used to sing. There's a difference. There's singing and then there's singing. That's right. I used to sing.
Pardon me, mama. Get me right.
Yeah, back in the day, I'm giving away my age, but if you were a songwriter, you didn't sing yourself, you needed somebody like me to sell your songs, and so that's how I started out, in studios singing for writers, and so I was able to sing. I have a hilarious story about this. At VO Atlanta, I ran into a representative from Coop Studios in Boulder, Colorado. Now, I hadn't heard the Coop name since my early 20s. And I went up to her and I said, I had the funniest story about your studio. And she's like, I know who you are. And I'm like, nice to meet you. I said, listen, back in the day, I used to sing. And I came in one day for a famous writer. And as I go into the studio, I look at the script and I'm like, is this for real? Because I'm thinking, these words are so stupid. This is never gonna go anywhere. And I'm like, are they for real? Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Yes. She
No.
started cracking up. She was like, no, Issa. I'm like, yes. But isn't that something how you may look at something that goes across the board
Yeah.
in life. And you may say, this is the dumbest thing I have seen in the past week. And then one day, guess what?
It's a hit.
That song blew up for the Pussycat Dolls. So but yeah, she was like, "That is the funniest story." I said, it is, because I judged it right away. Because as people, we're gonna do that. I'm looking at it like, "What is this junk?
Yeah.
What is this trash?"
Well, they say one man's trash is another man's treasure, and,
Yes,
somebody got a lot of treasure off that song, that's all I was
yes, that's right. The checks are not bouncing on that song.
No,
That's
ma'am.
right, that's right,
So
that's
you
right.
were a studio singer.
I was.
Were you, even as a child, were you a singer? How'd
I
you
was
get into
always
singing?
singing, I was always writing, I was gonna sign, with Sony, and when I found out what they were gonna do with my image, like hoochify me from left to right, I
Oh,
said,
boy.
"Oh, man." So I really got depressed, Trey. I said, "What am I gonna do?" And, I was really down, and I took a side gig as a nanny. I'm not really a big kid person, but I was an optician at the same time that I was doing demos and things, and so he was like, "Listen, I'm here late nights because he's the owner of the business, and he's like, "I need you to watch over my teenager, take her to the mall, take her to Starbucks, and just be with her." I said, "I could do that. For a check, I could do that." So one day he comes home and he's like, "Issa, Clear Channel, which is now iHeart,
iHeart, yeah.
they are coming out with a concept of English and Spanish, where you go from English and Spanish while you're talking on the radio, and
Huh,
I could get you in for an audition." And I was like, I was like a prestigious singer trying to make it in the music business, and I was at the time, I was working at a famous studio in Boulder with a guy who has written for Britney Spears, Whitney Houston, Mariah, and I literally was like, "Yo," after our session, I was like, "I got this opportunity tomorrow to interview for radio. Do you think that I'm selling myself out if I do this?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Absolutely not." Now, this was back in 2003. He's
yeah,
like, "Absolutely not. You will be able to be throughout all over the place with artists in their face. Like,
yeah.
no, go do it." And so I went to do it, Trey, and it's very unrealistic. I was offered a morning show right off the bat. That does not
Wow,
happen in radio. But,
wow.
it goes to show how, you know, I don't know how religious people are watching, but to me, God was like, "Okay, I'm gonna place you here at this time, and this is what you're gonna do for now." And I mean, honestly, I don't know about you, but when I put my mind to something, I put my all. And so I gave my all to Clear Channel, for almost 12 years, and they were great to me.
Yeah,
Like, when I find out how many, like, people hop around from one station to another, because when you're radio, you get moved around. The fact that I was able to stay in one place for almost 12 years, I realized after leaving radio that I was very lucky, because when I saw how people's resumes hopped around all the time,
yeah.
because the radio stations flip and you don't know what's gonna happen, and now that you're
And
getting
they
into
change
radio
formats
imaging
and stuff, yeah.
now that you're getting into radio imaging, you will know. One station will be rock for 5 years, and then one day they'll be like, "Oh, we need an R&B station in Lubbock, Texas. Let's see if Trey can." No, that's the way it works.
Yeah,
And just like doors close in our face, that just means it may open for somebody else, and, you know, I'll give you an example. I could be voicing a Spanish station right now in Texas that decides to go, you know, urban, or something else that's not me. You know what I mean?
mhm.
That door may close for me, but guess what? It may open for you. And that's the way that you need to uh, think about it when it comes to radio imaging. We are rented voices. Don't take it personal. Just
Amen.
keep it moving.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
it's and sometimes it's easy to say don't take it personal, but sometimes you do,
Oh,
because they're
absolutely.
gonna be they're
That's
gonna
your baby.
be
Yes.
quarters or months or days where
Yeah.
your trajectory is just you booking everything, and then you'll have that week where you got nothing, and then that week turns into 2 weeks, and you like, I
Yep.
gotta get something, and then you start thinking, "Well, maybe it's me, or did I do something wrong? Did I piss somebody off?"
Absolutely. Well, we're
And
sensitive. We're artists.
yeah,
We are sensitive folks.
we
We
most
are.
definitely are. I know
Yeah.
that for myself, man. I could be on a road where I'm booking twice a day for 3 weeks, and then after a week, if I don't get anything, I am nervous, like, "Why is nobody calling?" It's just creatives like to create. That's just what
Oh,
we
yeah.
do, and when we don't have that outlet I was playing this game called The Sims, and it's like little people and you get to control them. And one of the guys was a creative person and
Uh-huh.
he didn't do something creative. So now he's sitting there mad, like, your sim is upset because he can't do something creative. I'm like, that sounds like me. If I don't have something creative to do, I sit around like I need to have something to do. But
That's right.
I
I do
get
too.
that.
Like, if I ever am at retirement age or whatever, I really don't see myself, like, retiring. I have to do something for my brain. We all have to have a sense of worth,
Yeah,
to be needed. You hang around people that you want to be more like, or that you like the way that they make you feel, and once that stops, then that desire stops, you
true.
know? That goes with everything.
And
So
speaking of that, do you think that's what made the transition for you from being a singer
uh-huh.
and being on the other side? Because you're still in music, so to speak, not
Yeah.
not producing, but you get to
Talking
talk
about
to
it, playing
yeah,
it. Yes,
right.
absolutely. Absolutely, and, you know, being comfortable with a microphone is very important, and by the time I went into that interview, I was already comfortable with a mic, you
Yeah.
know, and it is a thing. If people are listening right now like, "What does Issa mean?" Oh, it's a thing. You have to become comfortable with the mic, especially when you see a red light in your face that says live, because that's a whole different other ball game.
Yeah,
Because yes, your mind plays tricks on you, and when you're live, it's go time. If you mess up in front of the world, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so that's another art. Like I give it up for I think you saw that post that I did on Instagram where I was giving it up to Vanessa James and
Oh, yeah.
Mara for the live announcing because what happens is as you're working with people and as you're reading, I don't know what it is about your brain, Trey, but your brain is messing with you while you're live. So, yeah, you have a sentence, but I don't know, sometimes it gets interrupted or like an out of body it's weird. Like, I felt like I was out of body when I was doing that live announcing. It was weird, and it
You know,
could be your nerves. I don't know.
I would say it's nerves because most of the time, and I've done some live announce, not on TV yet, but I've done
Yeah,
live announce here in Vegas, and it's
yeah.
funny because the one thing you tell yourself, like if you see a word that's coming that let's say in the rehearsals you kept messing up, and you're already telling yourself, "Don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up,"
Correct.
and then
You know what? No, I'm gonna tell you something. Your self-conscious is everything. I literally know somebody, this happened to them, okay? They got a ring. The ring was almost 500 worth $500,000, huge diamond, okay? They went to a baseball game, and all they did was focus on not losing the ring, not losing the ring, not losing the ring. Well, sure enough, she went to the restroom. She was washing her hands. She had to take it off quickly to put some lotion on. Guess what?
lost the ring.
Lost the ring.
That's a whole house on your finger.
Correct. So it's like if you focus too much on that, Stevie Wonder used to say, he never believed in second takes and third takes when it comes to recording music because he just had that theory of your mind being in the way.
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of, so and let's do a quick recap. So you
Yeah.
start off singing, you're singing in the studios, uh, making demos for other people.
Yeah.
And you had your chance to become a star,
Right.
but you didn't like the direction that they were going. And
Hoochie
and
mama. Yes.
and props to you because there are a lot of people who would have taken that and like,
Yes.
well,
Sign to the devil. That's
yeah.
right.
So I appreciate you standing up saying, nope, not this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you go from there, you get a chance to be on radio, and then you start to excel at being uh, a DJ and an interviewer and a host. Where
Yes.
does the transition happen between that
Yes.
and how you got into doing voiceover?
So I had built a studio back in 2014. I had radio people build my VO studio. Big mistake first. I remember when Jordan Reynolds, shout out to Jordan Reynolds, coming to my home for the first time. He's like,
That's right, because he used to live in Colorado.
who, yes, who did this? Issa. And I'm like, radio people. And he's like, thank you. That's what I thought. Anyway, so I had a studio that I set up already, thank God, that I never used because I was always busy at work. And, the radio, Trey, at the end of the day, radio is not what it used to be. Why? Because you could have a radio show in your basement and make a
Mhm.
hell of a lot of money by yourself now. The radio world and the broadcasting, aka journalistic world, it's not the days where I would encourage a young person to go to college for journalism. They say it would be a waste of money. Why? Because you could do your own thing now, right?
Yeah.
So it was yeah, January 6th of 2016 at 9:38 a.m. in the morning. I'll never forget it. I was about to start my midday show at 10 a.m. and I was brought into an office. I was told, give us your badge. Here's your severance package. Security will walk you out.
Wow.
And as a woman, I think we all are sensitive, but I need closure. Like, I needed to know why. And
Yeah.
I found out later that legally they're not allowed to tell you why. Of course, I took it personal. I never had a sick day. I dedicated myself fully to that job. And so when I got in the car, I said to myself, okay, they may have taken your job, but they didn't take away what you gave them. Because when I was on the air, I talked to you. I didn't talk at you. I was part of your life
Yeah.
every day, and you were part of mine. And I was an open book. I decided to be open with my listeners, and that worked for me. So, but the minute that I started to interview was the minute I knew I was let go. I remember going to San Francisco. Now, mind you, I want you to keep in mind how expensive it is to live there.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Oh, I know.
yeah, I when I was offered a position and I saw the check that I was about to get, I'm like, "What?" I would have to have 5 jobs to keep that job. And so on the plane ride back to Colorado, I knew why I was let go. 'Cause I did some other interviews with some other stations in Chicago and Florida and other places, and when I saw what they were offering me was the minute I knew I was getting paid a buttload of money. And
Yeah.
so now, mind you, I had put in my decade there, and I was also syndicated in Spanish and stuff, and I did some other stuff, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when it comes to budgets,
Mhm.
people are looking at the money amount. It's not what you're giving them, it's what they're losing,
How
you
much
know what
they
I mean?
yeah.
So then I said to myself, "Okay, I have this amount in savings. I didn't have children, I'm not married, I'm by myself." So I sold all my handbags. I went into the dealership, I said bye-bye to my luxury car, traded it in for something, a little older that I could get me around, and I said, "Okay, I have exactly a year of savings to try to do this voiceover thing on my own." And let me tell you, the fear in my stomach every day. First of all, waking up in the morning and not having a job to go to, I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. But I couldn't imagine living that fear with a
Mhm.
family and with kids. I was already horrible by myself.
And
You know
then
what
to
I
have
mean? But
folks
I could
depend
not
on you.
imagine
Yeah.
having that feeling on my back and in my heart with a family. So, but yeah, every day and listen, still to this day, every day as VO people, we wake up unemployed. I tell people that all the time that want to inquire. Hey, are you ready for the
Yeah.
unknown everyday.com? Are
Yeah.
you ready for that? Can you handle that? It's a lot. So yeah, I just hustled, and at the beginning, I worked, there's a saying, I worked 24/7 to not work 8 hours.
Wow.
It was whatever anybody needed, even if it was at 7, 8 o'clock at night, I would go. If it was a session in London in the middle of midnight, I would do it. Because at the beginning, you have to do what it takes
Mhm.
to pay the bills, to keep going, to also get more comfortable with the reads. Another thing that people don't realize, Trey, I had kept reading and hearing rumors that people coming from radio to VO, it would take years to get the radio out
Get
of
the
them.
radio voice
And
out.
I was cocky and I was like, maybe them, but not me.
Yeah.
It took me almost 3.5 years to book a real, like, like big campaign commercial.
Mhm.
3.5 years, and that's with practice and coaching and getting that radio out of me, that announcery in your face, you know, out of me.
Yeah.
It yeah. And again, it takes humility. You have to back down. You have to learn from others. You have to be open-minded. There's so many things that we need to do on our own. And also building structure. When you go full-time voiceover, you have to have structure in your day because there were times where I was in the studio with no break. No structure whatsoever, and then when you leave the studio, the amount of stress and the amount of pain that you
And
have,
you're
like, you need
exhausted.
to have Yes, you need to build structure, and so that's why I started to follow people that I admired. Then there was people in my life that came in that I don't know what I would have done without them. A couple of them is, Mara Juno, as you know, is also in your life. She was
Yes.
there from the beginning. Hang on, Issa, just hang on. Do things right now that you may not want to do, but that you can do. Do explainers, do telephony to pay the bills right now. Do explainer videos to e-learning to pay the bills right now until you can start to do what you dream of doing. Because
Yeah,
there's a difference between what you dream to do and what you can do at the moment until you get better and can do what you dream of doing,
absolutely. Yeah,
you know?
and I think,
Yeah.
that's a good cautionary tale because a lot of people, um, think they can just come into this, "Yeah,
Yes.
I got a good voice. Hey, I can read pretty good." But
Yeah.
but like you said, there are gonna be days where you are not taking breaks, and by the time
At
you've
all.
done your last session and they think because we sit or stand for a couple of hours that it's not work,
Yeah.
but your body takes a
Oh,
toll.
man. And do your research on what you think you like.
Mhm.
Let me tell you, I wasted almost $5,000 on demos of stuff that after I coached, I realized I hated that type of VO. But I invested in demos and everything. Do your research. Do you know what it takes to do an audiobook? Do you know the physicality that it takes to do a successful, a video game?
Mhm.
Mara helped me on a video game, audition. The only reason why I did it is because the Puerto Ricanness of the audition was so authentic. I was like, "This is bad.
Yeah.
This is, like, badass. Like, this is cool."
Yeah.
Let me let me tell you, when she coached me through even just auditioning for it, I was dead, dead in exhaustion.
Yeah.
Like, I had a new respect for video game actors. I hated it.
Wow.
It was not for me.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's a rel you have to have a rel you have to date yourself in voiceover, especially before you dish out and go spend a bunch of money on a demo.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
you'll find out and see, that's why, people will come to me and say, "Hey, I got this cool audiobook, I think you'll be great for it." I'm like, and ironically, I won a Sowas for an audiobook, and I don't like doing audiobooks, but I
yeah.
played a few characters in the book, and that's how I was able.
Yeah.
But if they woulda asked me to do a whole book with just me doing
Narration,
narration.
which is different, right. Character work is different than narrating. Again, this is stuff that you learn along the way.
Yes. Yes, it's,
And be careful what you wish for,
oh,
because if you book something that you dream of, that it's in promo or TV affiliate, you need to be available all the time
tell them
for these
again.
jobs, you
Tell
guys.
them again. They don't
Cannot be going to 7-Eleven and get yourself a little nachos and coming back. No, that is not you. If you book something like that, it comes with a certain responsibility to be available. And those are things that you learn
yeah,
along the way.
your best ability is availability, and
Yes.
I remember I was just in the interview I had yesterday, I was telling
Yeah.
them that, even when we moved from Florida to Vegas, there were a few times I had to pull over, go sit in a hotel lobby. You know how some hotels have, like, a conference room, like, "Can I use your
Yeah.
I need to record something," or I'm sitting at a quiet gas station with my microphone like this,
Yes.
and I'm like,
Yes.
make sure all the trucks are gone and left before I can record because
Yeah.
you gotta be available. Even though you
Yeah.
may tell them, "Hey, I'm booked out for the week," if something comes up, look, I know you're booked out, but we really need this, and ABC wants you, so and so wants you to do this
That's
promo, and it's
right.
like, okay,
That's right. No matter where you are in your journey, if you just set up something in your closet right now, there is someone else wishing they were in that position. You are someone's goal,
yeah,
no matter where you are in VO.
and I think that's important too. Uh,
Yeah.
Oftentimes we like to compare our
Oh,
success
absolutely.
or our journey to success to someone else. But I had a guy tell me, he's like, "Man, I want to be where you at." I'm like, "Nah, man, you wanna be better. I mean, I'm in a good place, but trust me, there are people that are above me that I'm going, man, I want to be where you at." There's always someone wanting to be where someone else is because
Yeah.
their definition of success is what they see. People like, "Yeah, I want to be like you one day." I'm like, "Ok, you sure?" 'Cause
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I started in 2009, and I
Yeah.
I really didn't start to see real success till maybe 2017, 18, and I almost quit in 16. So,
Yeah. I remember that. I remember the quitting year.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there're gonna be
Uh-huh.
days where you're gonna have to have a conversation with yourself and say, "Okay, is this something I really want to do?" I mean, you said it yourself, it took you, you know almost your life savings, a year's worth, like, I got a year to figure this thing out.
To figure it out, right, and I mean, hustle every single day, Monday and I kept a part-time I took a part-time Joe Cipriano, when I met him at VO Atlanta for the first time, he was like, "Okay, I want you to do this year thing, but on the weekends, Issa, stay in radio because since you do imaging and stuff, that keeps the relationships there. So go find a weekend job, okay?" And I said, "Sure." And that's exactly what I did. I worked on the weekends for radio still, and then did full-time VO during the week. Like I followed directions. If somebody like that is gonna tell me, "Hey, you need to do this, and here's another thing I always tell people, "Okay, you see that delicious chocolate cake on Instagram. You press click, and it shows you how to make that chocolate cake.
Yep.
Are you really gonna go make that chocolate cake? You want that piece of cake right now, huh? No, you have to go follow directions and make the cake."
Yes. Absolutely. And it's
Yeah,
funny you mentioned, I don't know what it is about the Joe Cipriano effect, because the same thing with me. When I was thinking about giving everything up and I got a chance to have a consultation with him because I won a raffle at VO
I
Atlanta.
remember. I
And
remember.
because of Joe, you know,
Yeah,
talking to me and there were other people, but had I not had that consultation with him to listen to my stuff and tell me, that you're on the right track, but you just got to do this, this, and this. And I did everything Joe told me. And
that's right.
at VO Atlanta last year in 23, because I hadn't seen him in a while, and
Yeah,
I just kind of pulled him to the corner. I said, I'm here because of you,
yeah.
because that was my first year as a presenter after going previous years just, as an attendee, because I had stopped going to conferences altogether, but when, J. Michael reached out and asked me to come, I'm like
Yeah,
I was really hesitant. I'm like, "Nobody wanna hear me talk." He's like, "I disagree. People would love to come in and hear what you have to say." So,
yeah.
I came and, yeah, Joe was there, and I just thanked him for, you know, that that pep
He's one
talk.
of the nicest people in the VO community, but he's also an example. You cannot buy class.
No.
He has just class and genuine. When he talks to you, he looks at you and he talks to you and listens to you for real.
Yeah.
He doesn't dismiss you.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
he's the real deal. I just had him on a couple of weeks ago, here for an interview, and I didn't have to do much talking. I just let Joe
No.
tell the story.
Yeah. Us radio folks, that we're gonna be easy interview people.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
shout out to Joe if you watching this.
Yeah,
Uh,
Joe.
Now how did you get to Colorado? Were you 'cause, I'm
So,
thinking,
okay,
I
yeah,
don't know many
I've been here
people that
since I was, like, 5 years old. My mom moved me here. She
okay.
left Puerto Rico, and she moved me here, and, yeah, I learned English right away, um, which has helped me tremendously because 'cause I'm able to give a Latinx sound
Mhm.
without talking like this, which is not in style at the particular moment. Now that may
Yeah,
come back because as you know, with voiceover, there's trends.
true.
And so the trend right now is how I talk, where you can tell she's from somewhere, but it's not like these, you know?
And talk
So,
about that because I was talking to, Michael Scott, and,
yes.
Michael is from Compton, California. When people hear
Yeah.
Compton, they think, gangs and, "Yeah, you gotta
Oh,
talk like
yeah.
this." And
Hard,
yeah,
hard, what's up?
yeah,
Yeah.
and Mike is not like that at all, and we were
No,
talking
he's
about
not.
you know, how him growing up in Compton, and then there's this perception of how he's supposed to sound. So, I'm
Uh-huh.
glad that you mentioned that. As
Yeah.
as a Latina and as a person, of color, have
Yeah.
you ever had any obstacles that were presented because people will say, "Oh, okay, Issa Lopez. We want you to talk like this, like, hello, my name is Issa."
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. I've
how do
had
you
people
deal with the
in sessions.
caricatures and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, you educate people in a nice way, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
I've had people, like, literally in a session, and I had to call my agent afterwards. He said to me, "Can you Telemundo more of it? Can you more Telemundo it?" Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I'm like, well, can you be more specific? You keep your
Wow.
class. In the sessions, you keep it classy. Okay, what explain more of what of let's see what you're looking for so I can try to help
Oh,
try to help you. But now, I'm to the point since I'm more comfortable in VO, um, I there's a few things I refuse to do, and it's talking a really, really, really strong accent. Now, if somebody wants me to push it a little more, especially when it's talking about like financing for like colleges and stuff like that, and
mhm,
it's New Mexico and Issa, we're talking to the Latino Hispanic community that's in Spanish but speaks English. Like, hey, you want to go to college? Like I'll do a little bit more of a Latina style like that.
mhm.
But as far as like talking in a very, very strong accent, to me, that would be acting. And here's the thing. Now, I do not consider myself, this is only me, okay? I don't tell people that I'm a voiceover actor. I tell people that I'm a voiceover talent because what you get from me is authenticity. For instance, I'm going to give you an example.
Mhm,
I just booked an audio book for a podcast that tells stories to children, okay?
mhm.
And I booked a character, but that character is a Puerto Rican marine biologist.
Oh,
So it's just
cool.
me telling you how
Marine
cool it is to be a marine biologist.
yeah,
And then, yes, I'm happy and I'm telling the kids, but to me, I'm playing myself talking about marine biology.
I got you.
Now, I respect actors so much when it comes to voiceover. You know what I mean? And again, other people will disagree with me. Well, no, Issa, you can, but we just we Donovan Cornitz
That's my guy.
has the way that he explains this is gold, and I'm gonna share it because I may be changing someone's life. Okay, let's say I get an audition
Mhm.
and it says wisdom, wise. I stay away from it, and I've told him, "I don't like them because I'm not an older person." And he's like, "Uh-uh, wrong." He's like, "I know you know everything about Frenchies. I know it. I know when you show Teddy every
Teddy.
day and that's my French bulldog, you guys. He's part of my brand. He's even part of my logo picture. He's like, "I know if somebody right now asked you about Frenchies, you can tell them the good, the bad." And I said, "That's right." And he goes, "That is
That's wisdom.
wisdom."
Exactly.
And I said, "I get goosebumps when I think about it because the way that he spoke to me in English and not Japanese about it, there you have that in you. Think about something that you know about, then you're wise about
Yeah,
it. And
absolutely.
that is the way that you do the read for that audition.
Yeah, I
So,
get things where it'll say, they want a wise, person, someone who has, what's the word they like to use? If it's not wisdom, oh, I can't think of the word,
I me too. I see it all the time, and
but,
I'm just like, "Mm."
uh oh, man, it not watching the show's gonna
Yeah.
be over, Imma call it like
The minute the show's over, it's gonna come up, but, you have that in you. And another one that freaks me out that I tell him I stay away from him, he's like, "Why?" When it comes to, like, scary, uh, promos for, like, a scary show,
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't have that." And he's like, "Yes, you do." And he's like, "What's your" he's like, I 'cause I post sometimes about I'm obsessed with, like, true crime stuff,
Uh,
and he's like, "I know. You could be in your kitchen right now talking about somebody that would, like, freaked you out and you were spooked out about it," and I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You have that. Now incorporate it into that read." And I'm like, and again, here I am being in my own way.
mhm.
We get in our own way. We block our own selves.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I don't do as much coaching now, but
Mhm.
I had a young lady, and she had this, um there was this particular read because she was trying to do promo,
Yeah.
and I told her, I said, "Look, you gotta find your Hey Girl read." She's like, "What's the Hey Girl read?" And it's funny, I told another, young lady about it too. I said, "The Hey Girl read is when" I said, "One thing about Latina women and women of color, y'all can say the word girl 5 different ways, and it means something different.
Yes.
I can call Or you can call, you know, one of your cousins and be like, "Girl, how you doing?" And then the
Right.
next time she talks to you,
The
something
girl.
right. So I'm giving her these examples, and she's
Right.
like, "Oh," and she's like, "I never thought of that." I said, "Now put one of those 'Hey Girl' reads into
Yes.
this promo." I said, "Even start off saying 'Hey Girl,'" and she was like, "Hey girl, it's an all new so and so on BET." I said, "You
Right.
hear that?" And she was like,
See?
"I never." Sometimes you just have to
It's
find something
strategy.
that makes the copy relatable,
Yes.
and once you find that thing that makes the copy relatable and then go into the read, that's when you'll see that, "Oh, all this time I've been, running from this, I just didn't apply the right, relation to it."
That's right.
And that's really
That's
what it
right.
is. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But when it comes to being a Latina in this field, I'm able to turn it on. I'm able to shut it off. It works for me, But I started making the most money when I kept being myself,
yeah,
which is the reads that you played in the beginning, which is Issa. You know that oh, that's Issa. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And that's the beauty of this industry. There is no other you. There is no other you. And as people, especially when we start out, we follow people that we admire and we think, okay, we have to be like that.
Yeah,
No, you don't. No, you don't. I've made that mistake as well. So,
yeah,
you're not alone.
me
No,
too.
you don't.
You just be
No, you
you.
don't.
Now, you as of late have, come into my world a little bit into promos, and I remember,
Yeah.
you were so frustrated at first.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
I was
"Hey."
scared of promo.
Yeah, he was like, I don't like,
I was
how do you do
terrified.
it?" And I'm like,
I was
you
terrified.
just do it." But then I remember, um, when you had sent me the NFL reads
Yeah.
and you were
I couldn't believe it.
asking my opinion, you was like, "Well, how does this sound?" I'm like, "No, that's good."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you booked it,
Yeah.
and
I booked another
yeah,
promo, yeah.
and
The
then
first one wasn't, but, yeah, the first one was booked by Maria Pendolino, shout out to her, is amazing talent to follow. But, yeah, the second one and what I owe to that is coaching. If I wouldn't have been coaching with Donovan Corneets, and he wouldn't have taught me just little things that you do in that promo read, because there is a recipe to promo reads,
yes, it
and
is,
if you don't know the recipe, you're not going to book,
or could.
period.
Nope.
No, you're not. And so again, it was booking, but also keeping it real. Cause they literally the audition was like, we want it to be real. We want it to be like a woman. And I'm like, wow, NFL is open now to women doing this. Shout out to them for doing it. And I mean the first sentence, when it comes to football, game day has you covered. That's exactly what I say.
Yep.
And that's me talking about football. I I I I could have unauthenticized that. When it comes to football, game day has you covered. Is that the way that I talk?
No.
No. No. No. So, yeah, people can hear the authenticity when you do stuff. It just
And
depends, and again, yeah.
what's cool about that, because that was one of the few auditions that they sent out, because I got it too,
Yeah.
and
So
it
did
said,
Donovan.
yeah, it was like men or women. I said, "Okay."
Yeah, yeah,
So imagine my surprise when somebody I know, I'm
yeah.
like,
And it happens to us all the time now. You'll hear a commercial, and you'll be like, "I auditioned for that. That's who they picked? Wow, this is why they picked them."
yeah,
And that's the thing I always tell people, please do not forward through commercials. You wanna be in this field, you need to listen to who's booking the job. Listen through those commercials.
yep.
Those are the people that are booking the jobs. Why did they book that? Listen to it, and
Especially if
that's
it's
free.
something you auditioned for and you didn't get.
That's
I
right.
go back and listen, I'm like, "Okay, what did I say wrong?" Or maybe
Right,
my
or the
delivery,
style
yeah,
or
like, what did they do? And I'm sitting here like this because I wanna figure out what they did so I can,
right.
the next
But how
opportunity I
many
can do it.
times do you not know that you booked something and you changed somebody's mind? Again, you do not know why you lost a gig,
Mhm.
why you booked a gig. It's just like being in court for a traffic ticket. The way that that judge is gonna be with you, you don't need they could have woken up on the wrong side, and guess
And
what? You're gonna get it.
thrown
You're
the
gonna
book
get the
at you.
full fee. You're not gonna get any kind of passage. They're gonna mess up your day. Again, you don't know why you went, and here's the thing. As social media, we watch all these people book all kinds of stuff. You don't know the story that it took them to get there and how they booked it.
Yep.
You
That
know what I mean? I was talking to somebody the other day who booked a humongous campaign, okay? And it may look like online that they are the top dog. But do you know that's the only campaign that they booked in the past 5, 6 months? But
wow.
guess what? Guess what? Everybody on Instagram is not gonna know that. So we start to beat ourselves up, man. They're booking this and this big campaign, and
Mhm.
you don't know. You don't know?
That's why I like to, when I interview people for this show, I like to talk about the before, because
Yeah,
what they see, how we live or how other people are living
yeah.
now in the after. Oh, there was work, years and years and years.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I remember going to the mailbox and walking by the parking space, and it didn't dawn on me until I got back to my apartment. I'm like, "My car used to be oh, they repoed my car. Oh, wow." And because I was so used to my car being, I'm just walking by, getting the mail, like, "Okay, bill.
Yeah,
The car's gone. Oh,
yeah,
okay." So, yeah, I didn't
yeah.
just wake up one day and be like, "I'm gonna be a voice actor and make all this money."
No.
Ooh,
No, it doesn't oh my goodness, it doesn't work that way.
there are dues to pay. They will
Oh,
humble
yeah.
you, they will make you cry, they will make you mad.
And no matter how successful or how much you book, you will always wonder, "I wonder why I didn't book this one. What happened here?" You know what I mean? Man, it's always gonna be in your mind. Always.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
once you get good at it, and you're starting to get, work, and not just getting work, consistent work, good work, because there are gonna be some scripts you read and it's like,
Straight trash.
"Really? They want me to say this?"
Straight trash.
Yeah. But once you
Yeah,
get good consistent work and you start to know the engineers and the producers, and you get a good rapport with your agents, you're always wanting to work.
yeah.
15 years in for me, and I still get that rush or that high with, "Hey, you just booked so and so." I'm like, "Okay, let's go."
Yeah,
I
that's
I
right.
don't think that'll ever
And you know
go
what
away.
else? I'm gonna bring up something great that I also learned myself. After a lot of coaching,
Mhm.
there were times where I was runner up. And then I went on Facebook and I'm like, man, guys, I was runner up. And someone that was very successful at the time replied, Issa, runner up is tremendous. This is spectacular.
Yes.
That runner up means you're on your way. And I never thought about it that way. When you go shopping for a car or a house, you know exactly what you're looking for, okay? But just because you saw 5 other spectacular houses that didn't fit your needs, that doesn't mean that those houses weren't spectacular.
Mhm.
You just know what you had in your mind. That's what I tell people that are upset that are not booking a lot. That producer, that creative director, they're creatives. They know what they as you were creating your cartoon,
Mhm.
okay? You had a vision of who was gonna be who, how they were gonna sound, what they were gonna do. That has nothing to do with whether fulano over here on the left is good or not.
Right.
You had a vision, period. That's the way it is.
It's true.
You're either gonna fit it,
Or
and
you
if not,
don't.
move on. Move on, get better, continue coaching, follow the people that you love. Don't emulate them, but follow them and get better and see their growth and what they're doing and try to be more like that.
I tell people that all the time. They're like, "When how do I, they always ask, no matter what the genre is, I said, "Well, go find the people who are doing the work that you do and look and listen at the stuff that they do. Don't emulate them,
Right.
but listen to how they sound maybe pick up things and say, okay, I don't want to sound like Dave Fenoy, but he has a very relaxed voice when he reads
Right.
promo, or when he does this, he uses a lot of his lower tones, but
Yeah.
don't copy him. Now, I do a pretty good Dave impersonation, but I don't copy him in auditions and things. But I remember hearing him do a so and so. Let me give my version of it, but don't just
Yeah.
outright copy somebody. Like you said, you're gonna book more just being you, and it's true.
Yes, because they can hear it
Mhm,
in your voice. They can hear it. They can hear
absolutely.
it.
So
Yep.
let's switch gears a little bit, and
Okay.
you talked about him a few minutes ago. Um, Teddy.
Teddy!
I have seen many people incorporate different things when it comes to their brand, but I think you having that little snug nose in these videos is just the
Aw.
cutest thing. Um,
Yes.
what made you want to well, first of all, um, being a pet owner, usually
Yes.
we're trying to keep them out of the studio, but
Right,
you
and I'm by the way, I'm the creator of VO Pets on Instagram, so definitely if you guys are listening and you're in your studios and you have your cats or your dogs, just look up VOPETS, VO Pets, and join and send me your picture so I can post you up what you do and also your pets, but go ahead.
you hear
Yeah.
that, Smokey? He's
Yeah.
he's in the
Yeah.
corner, he's sleeping.
You've been featured at V in VO
That's
Pets.
right. So,
Yep.
what what
Yeah.
what, gave you the idea to
Imma
incorporate
tell
him?
you, listen, we are in these booths on our own all day, and when you see that face looking at you, either, you know, in the studio waiting for you to be done, and, like, he's a breath of fresh air. Teddy is a breath of fresh air to me, and he's such a part of my life, and I do my little voice that I do when I talk about Teddy or
Oh,
the
we
Teddy
be
videos.
cracking that
Yeah.
Teddy,
Teddy.
Teddy, ah, Teddy, ah.
So, I do that because, it's an escape from me.
Yeah,
So that I can then come back to the studio, regroup. But they're creatures, they're our coworkers, Trey.
yeah,
They are our coworkers. Along with other people that we build relationships with online,
mhm.
those pets, those cats, those dogs, they are our booth buddies, you know? And I thought, man, I gotta bring him in, and I love him so much that again, he's part of my logo. Um, Even when I send out thank you postcards and things like that, Teddy is in the studio by the mic with me. And again, it's just it's a way of telling people that at the end of the day, we are just people. I'm gonna share something. There was times in my life where I was very, very intimidated by agents.
Hmm,
Uh, Emailing them, talking to them, I would clench up, I would close down. And a great supportive friend of mine in this industry, Brent Hagel,
Oh, yes.
told me years and years and years ago when the nervousness was affecting me, Issa, agents are people just like you and I. Relax.
Yes, it's true.
They have feelings like you and I. They're just like you and I. Chill.
It's true.
And when he said that, I don't know, it was just something in my mind just I just started to not be as nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I used to get that, um, especially when if I'm talking to an agent and
yeah,
they're watching me be so just like and we just over there just being casual and probably not even talking about work. They're like, "Man, I don't know how you did that. I would be so intimidated to talk to them." I'm like,
right.
Why?"
Why? They're people just like you
She
and
woke
I.
up this morning just like I did.
Just like
It's
that's right,
I'm like,
that's right.
you don't have an issue talking to your family members a certain way, so why would you well, because and I think part of it is they have the relationship between agent and talent backwards. And by that I mean they feel like, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing because then, you know, my agent will drop me or fire me. I'm like, your agent can't fire you,
No.
but you can definitely fire your agent.
Yeah,
And they don't understand what it means. I'm like, look, your agent is a counterpart to help you find work.
right. And don't get me wrong, people that are listening that have not been signed yet, I think it's important to say that, yes, when you sign to a major agency, okay, they do have a test run for a year to see if the relationship again, here's that R word, to
Mhm.
see if the relationship is gonna work, AKA, are you going to book or not? Because you can have a tremendous demo. It does not matter at the end of the day what you perform on your own in your studio when you send out that audition. Will you be able to book the jobs on your own? And if
Yes.
you don't know how to answer that, that means that whoever's listening and you don't know how to answer that,
Mhm.
that means you need to coach because you need to be competent by yourself in that studio. And that year is going to give them a chance to see, okay, what is this performance level thing? And then after that, they're going to sign you for 3 years. And that's the way it goes, you
Simple
know?
as that. And
Yeah.
speaking of that R word, relationships,
Yes.
uh, I would like to talk about a certain relationship with a certain young man.
Oh gosh.
And, like you said, when you first got into this business, you were a
Yeah.
single woman no more.
Right.
She done got wifed up, y'all.
I did. I got married. I moved it out in the middle of nowhere. It's called Peyton, Colorado, outside the outskirts of Colorado Springs, and I bought a Frenchie. And I couldn't imagine my life without these both of these cats because I mean, people ask me all the time, "How can you work at home with your husband?" I don't see that fool. I don't see him at all. No, I don't.
Yeah, you see how she talking about you, man?
Jay, his name is Jay Adams. Shout out to my husband for allowing me. See, you know, he's he allows me to be me.
Yeah.
He knows how passionate I am about my job. You think he comes in here and like to see what I'm doing or
No.
ask questions? No, he lets me be me. And I know that your wife lets you be you. And
Yeah.
she understood your goal. She understands your goals, your focus. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And so with him, I'm able to be myself. He knows how passionate I am. But yeah, I don't see him. Because I mean, I don't know about you, Trey, but hours just fly by in the studio. I get so busy, but I'm the type of person that I'll do something and then boop, I gotta go do something else. And before you know it, it's 2 and 3 hours.
Yeah.
And we have to like leave the studio. And like, I'm literally, I gotta say this. I'm seeing a chiropractor now because I stayed too long in the studio. And I'm also apparently sitting the wrong way. I'm sitting like this. And she's like, no, you have
You
to
have to
sit
sit
back
back.
like this.
Yeah.
She's like, you're a chiropractic nightmare right now. So no, really,
Yeah.
we need, structure. And so along with that, yes, comes partners that are supportive, that let you be you. And I could not imagine And also tech because I don't know how to put all this stuff together, and so he's the one
Yeah.
he's my engineer. So, sometimes I mess with him 'cause we were at a steak dinner for our anniversary the other day.
Mhm.
Remember when I posted? And it was I think
Yeah.
it's our 5th year, and I'm like, "Yo, well, you technically put my new mic together today, so can I write this off as me taking out somebody that works for me today?" And he's like, "You're stupid." But, I'm serious, so but yeah, it's a great thing when you're with someone that you can be 100% yourself
Yes.
and that they accept you for who you are. Because 'cause I'm not easy, Trey. I am picky, I can't stand his music,
Oh, I
that
know.
old
That
that
man be
old
playing some
school.
good R&B, and she just be sitting
Listen,
there.
you couldn't pay me $1,000,000 to go to a Motown concert. I can't stand that music. But yeah, I make fun of him, he makes fun of me, we make fun of Teddy together, and we keep it rolling.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause I I
yeah.
I I support you, Jay. I listen to the same I got vinyl all over my studio.
I know, and I know that when you guys finally meet, you guys can listen to that junk together.
That's all good. You heard it here first. All right, we're about to wrap, and, one thing I do at the end of the show is I like
Yes.
to ask my guests when they are out of the booths, the mics are off, the cameras are off, how does Issa Lopez take time out for herself?
I am a spa connoisseur, I love spas. I love treating myself to spas, and I love cooking, which I also share online with my
She
VO
gets
community.
down,
I
y'all.
do
I
get
just asked
down.
her for a recipe yesterday.
All the time, yep, like, "What is that? What was that?" And so, yeah, so definitely, follow me, Issa Voice, ISSA Voice on Instagram, and if you're watching and you're inspired by something and you have a question, Trey knows I'm super nice, as long as you're respectful, message me and be like, "Issa, I wanted you to explain more about what you meant by this or that. I am here to help you," because Trey will be a witness to this. We did not get here alone.
No.
No.
And it's up to us to pay it forward to people who really are very genuine and want to know and want to learn. So that's why it's it's easy for us. Um,
Yeah.
no, I think it's really cool to give back because when I first got into this, I didn't have anybody to reach out to, and then slowly you start to meet people, and they're like,
And you
"Hey,
can
well,
make huge mistakes without asking first. I had a very prominent person in the VO world text me at 12 p.m. last night. It was 10 p.m. in LA. They had never done a radio imaging audition. They got one for a completely different demographic than you and I. And they're like, Issa, quick question. Sorry to bother you. Can you ad lib on radio imaging auditions? And I said, 100%.
hey, absolutely,
And
that's
they
what
and
they're
they were
looking
like
for,
they
personality."
were like, "Yeah," but they were like, "Somebody so successful." They were like, "Thank you, I didn't know that." I said, "Well, now you know."
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yep, yep.
That is crazy. Well, folks, that is our time. And she's already given you her socials. So
Yeah,
it's Issa Voice. I
ISSA voice.
that's it.
Yeah.
So go follow and VO Pets. Give
Yeah,
them
VO Pets too.
yeah, VO Pets. And if you don't have a pet, go get one.
Go get one, yeah.
All right, y'all. That is Issa Lopez, and I am Tre Mosley, and we are out. See you next time. Thanks for listening to the Take Time Out with Tre Mosley podcast, part of the Titan Media Network. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts. To see the video version of this, you can find us on YouTube on the Take Time Out with Tre Mosley YouTube page. Thanks for listening, or thanks for watching. Either way, we'll see you next time.